biggest thing is we want to go out and play a spirited game, highly competitive for the minutes that you get, whomever it is, and make sure we see carryover from all the things we worked on in camp.
Have you decided what's the plan for the starters yet tomorrow?
They'll have limited minutes. You know, all those guys will be under 20 minutes.
With all 4 games seemingly coming close together, right? I think you play, 3 in the next 5 days. Are you going to try and tighten up the rotations, or is it just because the games are so close together you're not going to be able to play, maybe ramping up the starters to close to 30 minutes by the end of the last preseason game?
We will try to ramp them up. I don't know if we'll get to 30 minutes or not. We'll read it, see how guys feel. Like you said, we got, 3 games in 5 days, so we got to be aware of that, but we'll definitely try to get them going.
New offense. How important are these preseason games? Like installing a new offense?
Well, the offense is not necessarily new. It's a lot of the stuff we ran last year. We're just, tweaking it a bit, trying to make it a lot better. Obviously, health plays an important role in that. But the preseason games are important. You get a chance to, first of all, beat up on another team. You've been beating up on each other for 5 to 7 days, so that'll be fun for the guys. And then we get to evaluate some film and try to continue to build and grow from there.
Is there a number of guys you'd ideally like to get in the game tomorrow?
We don't know yet. We'll see. But we'll definitely play 12, 13, maybe 14 guys at least.
How much do you think being disruptive, kind of playing in the passing lanes is key to your team's defensive identity?
It's extremely important. We want to cause havoc defensively. We want to get deflections. We got steal guys, Hurd, Najee, and Dyson. They get in the passing lane and they go. And so it's disruptive. We want to play like that. We think it's our foundation, and we'll go out tomorrow night and implement all the things we've been working on in practice.
How big of a part do you think switching will be in this year's defense?
That's the NBA now. You got to be able to guard multiple positions, switch on the guys. We got guys that can do that can play different positions. It's important, especially coming down the stretch of games.
How much do you think those deflections and steals kind of feed into your offense as well?
They're helpful. If we can get easy baskets, keeps your legs fresh, keeps teams on their heels. We want to be aggressive defensively, and that means deflections, steals, securing rebounds. We want to take some more charges this season, so we'll see what we look like tomorrow.
I'm great. Every day is progress, and we're getting close to participating in practice.
How much are they letting you do right now?
Nothing contact. That's about it.
Larry, just watching from the side, what have you thought about just some of the things you guys are doing offensively so far in camp?
I thought we looked great. The offense looks fluid. Guys look like they're in their natural positions. I think it's been fun to watch, and I like Borrego's input has been great.
If you don't mind me asking, you announced this summer you're got a stake in Leeds United. I was just wondering what you could share about how that came about and what that experience was like for you.
That's honestly one of my proudest accomplishments to date. I've been looking in that, for ownership of the soccer side for a long time, and this opportunity came about, and it just felt like the right one, and brought my wife over there to visit, and I'll be back whenever I get a chance to. It's trying to make that a second home.
What stood out about just over there, pace of life,
Everybody in Leeds was super friendly to me and great. Obviously, Leeds is a sleeping giant. They've won the league multiple times and fell upon hard times. But hopefully with the new group we brought in, we can restore them to glory.
You played soccer growing up, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
When did basketball become was it always the number one or?
Soccer was the number one until I got too tall for it. I essentially played basketball by proxy.
When did you become too tall?
About 6'6". That was about it. Yeah, 6'6", and they're like, yeah, either play goalie or quit. So I chose basketball.
Have you talked to any other players about? Do you know of any other players that are interested in investing in another soccer team?
Yeah, there are guys. Obviously Brown's got a stake in Liverpool. I think KD's in an MLS team. Giannis is an MLS team. Harden's in an MLS team. TJ McConnell's actually in Leeds with me. there are Russell Westbrook as well is in Leeds. So there's a few guys starting to expand, but I like to think of myself as the first real fan in the NBA.
EJ told us the other day, Larry, that he's been picking your brain a little bit. What have you seen out of him since training camp started?
Nah, EJ's been great, and whenever he watches film, I'm over his shoulder, and whenever I watch film, I make sure he's there with us. He's got the ability to play a role that's becoming more prevalent and popular in the NBA and necessary. Kind of that, myself, PJ Tucker, Grant Williams, Brandon Clark, kind of that small ball closing five, switchable guy. And, obviously it's way more mental than it is physical. So trying to teach him the ins and outs of that position and, really learning how to play bigger than your height is necessary.
Speaking of EJ, what do you make of his dancing performance yesterday?
I was definitely left wanting more, but it's all in good fun. We all have our welcome to the NBA moment, and that was his. So obviously he was a little bit reluctant, but we'll make it. He'll make up for it. You can believe that.
Mental in what way?
With that role?
Yeah.
Man, it's a tough one to explain, but being able to cut off passing lanes just by positioning is everything, right? Like if I'm guarding Jonas, if he gets me out of position, I'm done because he's 7 foot 270, and I have nothing I can do. So it's at all times positioning yourself to be able to rotate, to be able to fight back in front, to be able to cut off certain passing lanes. It's there's a lot that goes into that position mentally, and I think if you were to ask any of the guys that play that position, they'll tell you the same thing, that my game defensively is way more physically or mentally taxing than physically.
One of the things Coach mentioned is doubling down on getting offensive rebounds. How important is it to generate those second chance opportunities, and how do you think that plays to his team strengths?
I think that's gonna be big time for us. Obviously, like Coach said, Jonas is for year 11. For 11 years now, that's been his bread and butter. So obviously he does that naturally. Obviously Z is a bully in the paint. Brandon likes to get in the paint. CJ likes the mid-range. Herb wants to get in the paint. We have a lot of guys that like to play around the rim. So, when you get in there, if we can I think Utah did it to us a little bit last year, and Houston did a little bit to us, where you get enough bodies in there and it's taxing. It wears you down, and you'll get to the fourth quarter and, box outs become less and rotations become less because guys are tired of fighting you up underneath that rim. So that could be a major factor for us, and I think that'll be something that I'll certainly be taking Coach's lead and doubling down on that when I get back.